I love writing. It is literally a huge passion of mine, something I really enjoy, yet I always tend to fall off of it. And so it's like I have like 10 books started. That's the problem started. Some of them are long too, right? But there's no real vision for them. There's no real ending. There's no real commitment for it to be completed, get published, go out into the world. And I've been trying to find different ways to incorporate my writings or my books that aren't necessarily like publishing them, right? But I just don't really know how to do that right now. And I feel like one thing I need to prove to myself is that I have the discipline and I have the follow through and I have the persistence and all of that to actually finish one before I start trying to do different variations and different ideas for it. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. What about you? But yes, whoever would love to join me on this journey, whether it's fellow writers or whether it's someone else who's trying to commit to doing something, it could be so difficult to do, especially with the startup, right? Whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting off of drugs or ending addictions, whether it's making friends, going into community, or completing a project, a new business, whatever. But I know it's so important for us to do those things that we know we need to do, but we keep allowing ourselves to get talked out of or we keep falling off of. I think sometimes we convince ourselves that it's not as important as it is. We all have purpose. We all have a unique ability, a unique passion and talent, a unique way of expressing the Lord, you know? And it's so important that we walk into that. There are people who need that business we're thinking of. There are people who need that invention we're thinking of. There are people who need to see our creativity, who need someone to relate to, who need to see that it's possible, you know? And whether it's others or ourselves who really need us to make that change that we need to make, it benefits both. It benefits others and ourselves every single time, even with weight journey, right? For me, with my weight journey and my health, fitness, whatever journey, it was such a benefit to me once I finally committed to it, obviously, because I was healthier and such. But then I could also start helping others by being one, an example, but by also giving them guidance and pointers or doing trainings with them, like holding them accountable, whatever it may be. So please don't underestimate and don't allow your brain, those secondhand doubts or whatever, to convince you that it's not important. We only have so much time on this earth. We only have so much time on this earth. And it's like the more you realize that, I feel like the more urgency it should bring, because none of us were created on here just to coast through life. None of us were made on accident. None of us were made and it was just like, you can be here, but it doesn't really make a difference. No, we all were created with a purpose. Some of us are still finding it. Some of us are still discovering it. Some of us are still exploring and trying to figure it out. Some of us don't even realize it. Some of us are taking those baby steps of walking with purpose, right? And are just frustrated because we don't really see any fruits. But continue to walk in purpose. Continue to do that process because you matter. You're needed. And you're only going to be here for so long. You're only going to be on this earth for so long. Like, next thing you know, you're going to turn around and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm this old. And oh my gosh, I'm this old. And I always hear this from like old people, but like it's so real. And the last thing I want us to do is live our life in a way that we end it with regret. And real quick, guys, I just want to encourage you because a lot of times our standard is like just super high. Like we have to accomplish a certain level. We have to be known at a certain level. We have to get this huge reward in order for what we do to matter. And I want to debunk that just because those little steps that you take toward progress are so much greater. I found out that there really is no little thing, because it is those little things that create monumental changes. But we can't experience those monumental changes if we're too ashamed of the little steps. So, congratulations on that little step. Keep focusing on that little step. Do that little step. Big and grand may come in time, but even if it doesn't, that little step is just as worthy of praise, just as worthy of recognition as whatever grandiose plan you had in your head. So, whatever it is you are committing to, let's do this together, step by step, week by week. We got this. And allow me to introduce myself. My name is Marcella, Big Sis, God's Child, whichever. And I am writing a book. I am finally going to be seeing a book to the end, and I am posting these videos so that each and every one of us who are trying to finally break through something, trying to finally commit to something, we can hold each other accountable. We can walk through this journey together. We could drop our comments and our struggles, our breakthroughs, our testimonies in the comments together. And I believe there's something so powerful about having a community of people who are achieving, you know? So I will be here weekly posting and joining you guys on our journeys. Why is it so hard to write sometimes?